I'm Judge Wright. Mr. Eaton, everything I'm going over with you this afternoon, I will give it to you in writing. I'm here this afternoon to go over all your rights and any bond conditions. Mr. Eaton, you got 5 charges. All these are general session court charges. You have a charge of murder. You have a charge of armed robbery. You have a charge of attempted murder. You have a charge of burglary, first degree, and also a possession of a weapon during a violent crime. Now, for these charges, sir, you have a right to a trial. You have a right to a trial by a jury. You have a right to be represented by an attorney. If you're unable to afford your own attorney, you can apply for a court-appointed attorney. The Public Defender's Office is located at 118 Willis Plaza here in Gaffney. There's an application fee of $40 to apply for a court-appointed attorney or a public defender. Now, the Public Defender's Office is also the jail once a week to see defendants. Now, for these charges, sir, you also have a right to a preliminary hearing. And I'll be sending this form over to you. If you want to ask for a preliminary hearing on these charges, this form will need to be filled out and submitted within 10 days. It can be turned into one of the officers of the detention center, or it can be turned into the magistrate office, which is located right next door. Also, 2 court dates. I'll give you a copy of these court dates as well, Mr. Eaton. These are your first appearance and your second appearance. Both of these are on the 3rd floor of the Cherokee County Courthouse, 125 East Baker Boulevard here in Gaffney. Your first appearance is August the 22nd at 9 a.m. Your second appearance is October 24th at 2 p.m. And Mr. Eaton, if you fail to appear for either one of these court appearances, a bench warrant will be issued for your arrest. Now, lastly is a document titled Information Regarding Your Rights. I'm going to also be sending a copy of that over to you as well. It's very important that you read this. Now, these charges have been brought against you for if it dropped, this charge is dismissed, or if you found not guilty, the charges be expunged from your record. And before going over any bond or any bond conditions, just let me should have done this initially. In the courtroom as well, Mr. Eaton, with the solicitor's office is Ms. Lascanic, sheriff's office Lieutenant Gardner, also with the solicitor's office is Ms. Jackson, and with the sheriff's office is Ms. Cardwell. Ms. Lascanic, do you wish to address the court, ma'am?
Briefly, if I may, Your
Yes,
Honor, just to give you some of the facts of this case, this occurred on August 9th of 2018 on Phelps Road. This defendant was involved in a home invasion that occurred at that address. He and 2 other individuals kicked in the door to that home, went inside armed with weapons. According to a statement that this defendant has provided to law enforcement, he was personally armed with a shotgun. He admitted to holding down Mr. Cooper and Ms. Jacobson with the shotgun, keeping them in place while 2 of the co-defendants rummaged through the home, removing items from the home. There was another co-defendant who has been charged, Elijah Thompson, who apparently was armed with a pistol. When they left the home, Mr. Thompson fired 1 shot. That bullet struck Ms. Jacobson and was a fatal shot to Mr. Cooper. According to the defendant and the information that I've received from law enforcement, at no time did Mr. Cooper or Ms. Jacobson try to resist them in any way. There was no reason for anyone to be shot and certainly not murdered that day. We are requesting that bond be denied on all charges, and it's my understanding from Ms. Caldwell that there are 2 family members of Mr. Cooper who would like to address Your Honor at the appropriate time. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Ms. Caldwell?
Yes.
Who would like to address the court?
Is this a grandmother back? Yes.
If you'd like to address
To
the
address
court,
the
if you would
court.
just start by giving your name, and then you may.
I'm Brenda Cooper. I'm Marshall's, the grandfather's sister-in-law. And I just wondered who did the shooting and how many were involved, and have they all been arrested?
Okay.
I'll be happy to discuss that with her following the hearing.
Okay,
Give
Ms.
her
Cooper,
the
if you-
details that the family would like that we have at this time.
Ms. Cooper, if you would like to, if you can, just hang around for just a moment after this bond hearing, and Ms. Liscanic will answer any questions she possibly can for you and any other family members. Would any other family members like to address the court?
Yes, Your Honor, my name is Danielle Cooper. I was Marshall's stepmother. You know, this cowardly act by these three pitiful people has completely destroyed an entire family. Marshall has a son that will be 10 years old in 6 days. That's just one of the many milestones he's gonna miss. I've watched it take my daughter to the depths of almost taking her out too. I don't understand it. You know, they had already been through the house like Mrs. Scanick said. They'd already gotten everything they were gonna get. This was totally senseless, cowardly, and pointless. And especially since we found this one in Maryland, I believe he's a flight risk. I think he's a danger to the community, and I ask that you keep him in jail for everybody's safety and his own.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, Ms. Cooper.
And this was Marshall's sister.
Shauna Cooper, Marshall's little sister, and I just want to know two things. Why? 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 Just why would you? Was it worth throwing your entire life away for what? Because I've noticed you shaking your head when she said, I understand, but I just want to know why. Was it worth it? Was it worth destroying an entire family?
Ms. Cooper, thank you.
I believe that's all, Your Honor.
Mr. Eaton, would you like to address the court? And let me preface this by saying this, you certainly can say anything you like to say, you don't have to, but understand anything that you do say this afternoon can and will be used against you in court.
Yes,
Saying that, Mr. Eaton, do you wish to address the court?
yes, sir.
Go ahead, sir.
My name is Daniel Eaton, and I did commit these crimes, and no, it was not worth destroying an entire family. And like I've told the officers, and like I've already given the officers everything that I know that happened, and I will be punished for these crimes. And it was pathetic, it was stupid. And I do not know anything what y'all are going through. And anything that I know that can help bring this to the court and serve justice for this, I will. And there's nothing I can say or do that can take this back. But I didn't want anybody to get hurt, like I said in my statements. It was uncalled for, and it shouldn't have happened. Thank you.
Anything else from anything else, Mrs. Gannon?
No, Your Honor, thank you.
Okay, thank you. I can't say, I cannot imagine what y'all are going through with that. I've never experienced anything such as this. And I'm very, very sorry to each and every one of y'all what has happened to Mr. Cooper. At the same time, I want to thank y'all for being here today. I know this is not easy. Mr. Eaton, bond condition, I don't know how much access you have to a phone at the jail, any access to a phone at the jail, but